Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Woo!
Let's
Welcome
go.
back, traders. How we doing? We have an
I wake up.
absolutely beautiful video for you today, going over ticker symbol GME and AMC. Make sure to stay the full length of the video because we have something very important for you towards the end. But to start here, I wanted to go over Charles V. Payne, the absolute ape, the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful man, going over the retail apes, and I still own them both. I bought $50,000 worth of AMC and Gamestop on the same day, inspired by retail apes, and I still own them both. Whoops. And I think that's a beautiful statement to say right now, especially with the current status of the community. You can see a lot of big players coming back, and I think it's about time. Right. I don't think it's by coincidence. I think you are going to see a nasty, nasty move on both GME and AMC. And let's get into the technicals on those stocks. But I thought this was really cool by Charles. I friggin' love this guy. I think he is a stand-up gentleman. So let's jump into GameStop because GameStop had a very, very important close today. And I emphasize importance here because although not bullish, guys, it was an important close. You had a weekly close of a shooting star candle. That is very, very no bueno. But on the bright side, guys, on the freaking bright side, right? Because we like to be bright side kind of thinkers here. You had, right, drum roll, you had a retest of your golden freaking cross, guys. So you got it here right now. You literally got yesterday the golden cross, which is the 50-day EMA crossing above the 200. And the importance of this cannot be understated, guys. You now knifed, right? Saw a filthy day, down 4% to retest this. You wicked off of it a little bit and then closed your candle slightly above the 200-day EMA, right? Like you literally closed 2 cents above it and the same price as the 50-day EMA. So the coincidence of this close cannot be understated, right? It's not a coincidence. It is a technical test, ape. So if you are able to find a bounce off of this, guys, the bullish reaction, in my opinion, that will come from this is going to be insane. And you can see here, you saw a little bit of a breakdown on higher volume, but you go to trading view, right? Because when in doubt, pull up the trading view chart. And you are still within this kind of bullish pennant formation after this breakup from the double bottom. So that's what I'm watching here on GME is this bullish pennant formation. If you could see that come to fruition, you're looking at $30 on the stock and a gap fill of our technical landmarks, right? The $28.50 and the $30 price target on those two short-term gaps. Now, if you get that, guys, I expect a lot of bullish momentum to hammer home off of this golden cross. Now, there is a very, 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 very good guy named Jackie, and I give this man all of the freaking props here. What is his name? Jackie. It'll come up. Come on. Yes, sir. This guy's an absolute legend. If you don't follow him, go follow him. But he emphasizes as well the importance of the golden cross on GME. You can see how close it was back then. And I want to say he went over it at some point. Yeah, this man posts a lot. That's okay. Nevertheless, the importance of the golden cross, guys, it is a technical indicator, one of the most watched in the market of all of the technical indicators, right? So not only do you have institutions, algorithms, you have also retail traders, swing traders, day traders, big players, right? Watching for this to happen. And you are now getting it while also getting the retest of it, guys. If you see a bounce in bullish volume, I expect this thing to freaking fly. Okay. So that's the short-term coverage on GME. The weekly coverage, you got, like we said, one of the most bearish weekly candles you could have gotten. So you do have room to step down here to around that $23 zone, but we don't want to let up steam, guys. If you let up steam here, there's a very good opportunity you just fizzle out and you go back down to 20, and that would not be the best case scenario. Now, levels to watch, right? Because there's multiple levels to watch on this stock because of the run up. You have multiple gap fills to the downside. First one being at 21.93 that you would look to fill. The second one being at 21.25. So if you do spill back here, expect those gaps to fill. But not the worst case scenario at all, right? This could be the dip before the rip, truthfully, honestly, because you have done a couple of good things here, right? You've now made your higher high. And we talked about this being a potential if you did spill back here. But you made your higher high, higher low, higher high. Now this would be a higher low at around 2020 or 2025, wherever you tap this trend line. But that would be a 3 rising valleys formation, which is a bullish formation, guys. If you guys are not aware, 3 rising valleys pattern gives you a good move on that third rally, right? Something like this. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And then bam. Or very similar to GME, right? Double bottom, one more pullback, and then you run, right? So I would not be surprised to see something like that at all when it comes to the GME pattern, as that's just kind of what it's looking like, right? You're seeing the broader market as well kind of spill back a little bit because IWM, this is the meme index, right? Or the small cap index that a lot of traders follow for AMC and GameStop. So this will basically tell you, are the small cap companies overperforming or underperforming? And right now you're seeing a little bit of a sell-off and hesitancy given the uncertainty in the market from the war. But I'll give you an example of what IWM has been doing here and what I expect it to do in the near future, aka next week. So what IWM has been doing, right, is you broke down from this channel. You came back to fill the gap left from that breakdown, and then you just did the exact same thing. So maybe this, get rid of this, bam, 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 bam. Get rid of that. So the point to emphasize here, right, is you left a gap right here at the low of 2,254. You then went all the way down here to 244, came back up, filled your gap, came back down, created a gap, came back up today, filled your gap, and then now you're going back down. So I do anticipate if you don't double bottom here at 244 that you're going to come all the way down, and that's not a bad thing, guys. That, in my opinion, is deep freaking value if you come down to this 200-day EMA. As Warren Buffett always used to say, as many other smart traders always say, buy good companies at the 200-day EMA and you will be successful. Now, of course, we're a little bit more speculative stocks, but still the 200-day EMA is always not financial advice. Always a very, very opportunistic period in a stock's history. As you can see, bounce off the 200, bounce off the 200, bounce off the 200. It's more bounce off the 200. More often than not, do you find a wicked rally off the 200. So the closer you get to it, the more excited I get for a potential rally here for small cap stocks and memes. So that's what I'm watching for, right? That's all you can do. You can wait and see. One bad thing on the weekly is from this breakdown, you're now seeing the volume 2 weeks in a row spill up. That's not what you want to see from a technical landmark side, right? You want to see the volume step down as the bears are running out of selling powder, right? But they're really not right now. They are beginning to step in here, so that does worry me that you may spill further into a more macro rounding bottom, right? Continuation formation. Let's see, do we have any gaps lower? Do we? Filled that one. And that's actually a beautiful thing. You filled the gap at 249 and had a beautiful reaction from that. So that is a good sign in general for the small cap index. But that's something to watch, right? I mean, the volume profile, all you could do is watch, but rubbing my hands together because you know what's coming next. We're going to talk about our girl Amy. Woo! We're going to talk about AMC, baby. AMC, although still going down, although still capitulating, I do believe you're going to see a pretty nasty move. I really, really do believe at some point in the near future, you're going to see a pretty nasty move. Why that happens? Who knows, right? You are currently trading sideways, barcoding, right? I think this outlines it very well. This Robinhood chart, that is a barcode if I've ever seen one. And so a lot of people talk about the overall transparency in the market and the corruption and the manipulation. That is just straight what do you call that? Algorithmic trading. So you hate to see it for AMC, but that is kind of what happens when a lot of the retail interest has been bankrupted, right? At this level of 109. And I'm starting to see AMC become more popular on social media because it is on such a freaking discount, right? At 109. But the weekly close, that's what we're talking about here. The weekly close, not a good one, right? You saw a bullish inverted hammer last week, but you did close lower than that. So you kind of cancel out your good close of last week. However, the beautiful thing that we are going to continue to pound our hand on the table, guys, pound our fist on the table, is how low you are on the weekly RSI, guys. Take a zoom out with me and look at how oversold you have been, right? And so I don't think it's a coincidence that people like Charles Payne, people like freaking Jackie Letitz are talking about AMC, and many other people are talking about AMC finding a nice bounce here at these levels, given, right, how oversold you are on the RSI. It is always a good thing when you are near record oversold. And although a lot of the pain, right, that's brought you here sucks, and you can't look past that. But the opportunity that arises when you're this oversold leads to extension moves like this, right, in a short period of time. 70 days, 277%, and then the volatility picks up, right? The interest retail-wise picks up, and you see no barcoding. For me, I don't want to see barcoding at all on our favorite stocks, right? Because that shows that the interest and the manipulation are precurrent. But let's take a peeky weeky at AMC on Webull, because I feel like I wanted to see the MACD as well as the volume profile. So the daily close was a shooting star candle as well. You rejected the 9-day EMA on higher volume, which is not a good thing ever, right? On the weekly time frame, volume up just a hair, right? Just a hair, 6 million shares, but your weekly MACD, guys, is continuing to curl up as this move and this stepping stair down is continuing to fizzle out, right? You're not seeing these big extensions down of 16%, of 17%, and you're starting to see the bullish volume at least begin to trickle in at these higher levels, right? So that's what I'm watching for AMC. I want to see a bottoming candle. I want to see a close above the 9-day EMA and the daily, and you need to see a weekly cross of the MACD, guys. Until then, you are continuing to trade sideways and down. But, I wanted to also cover on AMC just something that I thought was interesting. When you look at the trending patterns on trades, right, on Robinhood, they give you a pretty cool statistic of insider buys and hedge fund buys, right? So over the last 3 months, you've seen more purchases on AMC overall of 100, and then 69% in terms of insider buying, right? That's something that a lot of people have talked about on GameStop. You see very prevalent, but now you can see AMC insiders starting to pick up shares, which I think is fascinating because it's almost always a good sign of good things to come, right? Albeit guarantees nothing. You can go to some very, very good stocks and see insiders buying more than selling genuinely a good sign. So you can see hedge funds, of course, just dumping the absolute crapola out of AMC, but you could also see who is buying, right? So uninformative buy, and then kind of the description, right? Automatic buy transaction, how many shares each person got for what market value. I think that is fascinating. So I'd love that from Robinhood. Absolutely love that from Robinhood. In case you guys are unaware on AMC, I wanted to kind of take a macro look at what it is doing on the macro. And something that I find interesting is all the way back here, right? This is when everyone was saying AMC to the freaking moon, right? You could take the candle, put it on top of the bullish pennant, and that is where we were going if this thing panned out, right? But unfortunately, it didn't pan out that way. And what I find interesting is this same resistance line rejected so many times, right? Failed to close above, and inevitably knifed down. Something that I am watching for and something that I know a lot of people are targeting is this gap fill right here. And if you're talking about the macro, right, I'm not even talking about this year, next year, 3 years from now, but eventually, once this falling wedge plays out, which it has until February of 2027, I think you're going to break out much sooner than that, in my opinion. I do expect a very, very violent ramp up here and a move upwards of $5 to $10 initially, right? I think if you can find that bullish reaction and some kind of fundamental news on AMC, the risk to reward at these levels are freaking phenomenal, in my opinion. That's not financial advice. You do what you want, you put what you can lose, but I genuinely believe the risk to reward here, right? You have to 60 cents. That's a 43% drop. But you could ride this thing $5, 406%, $10, right? That's your previous all-time low. That's a big, big level. That is almost 1,000%. And then that juicy, that finger licking good gap fill in the weekly at $43 that I am personally targeting for a potential price target on a squeeze moment for AMC, $43, upwards of 4,000%. So AMC looking good, in my opinion, for the long term. If you're swinging this thing, be careful. It is going to be a bumpy ride. GME, I still think is good. You had an atrocious candle close to the week, but I do believe the best is yet to come. You still are holding above the golden cross and within this bullish pennant, guys. You know what we're targeting. These levels, right? IWM still, right? Zoom out. You're above the 200-day EMA. You are bullish. I don't care what anyone says. And genuinely, right, when you take a weekly look, is this a setup that is bearish to you? Is this a setup that's bearish to you? Like, surprise, it is beautiful, guys. So genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, make sure to slap the subscribe button, slap the freaking like button on the way out, and make sure, guys, to have an absolutely blessed day. You live only once on this earth. Make sure to spend time with your family. God bless each and every single one of you guys. And remember, the best is yet to come. God bless.